Here we go. We're getting ready to, the season is upon us once more. So, last season we really got things going, and by the end we had proved one of the most dangerous teams in the league, if not perhaps the most dangerous. But this time around, the league's kind of picked up on that. Preseason poll just came out. Cats were picked second. Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about the expectations that you guys have been feeling, and has what they've shown you in the offseason shown that they can meet or even perhaps exceed that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's probably my biggest question is just how do we deal with the increased expectations? We definitely have the most back we've had. Obviously, what we did last year was awesome in so many ways, and getting picked second in the league was a reflection on what last year's team did. And I couldn't be more proud of last year's team, but it doesn't really matter for this year's team in the sense of we got picked last my first year and we were just fine. I think last year we picked 8th or 9th and got 3rd and probably outplayed everyone down the stretch. So I think more than anyone we should be aware of why picking doesn't necessarily matter, and what matters is how you actually play and winning games. But at the same time, part of you has to be a little bit, happy for last year's team and happy where the programs came in the last 4 years.
And another part of that as well, a little wrinkle on that, if you will, is that Max Bjorklund was the cat's out of the bag with him. No voted GLIAC Preseason Player of the Year. So what kind of pressure comes with that? And then, of course, for the team, having him back, what does that mean for this squad?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think that's why we're picked second. Is usually if you have the Preseason Player of the Year, you get picked top couple, and he's well deserved. He had an awesome year last year. He's been great in the preseason. We're just really lucky to have him back for a 5th year. The last few years, I feel like other teams have had 5th-year guys that are really good, and it's been nice that finally that's came around, and we have a 5th-year guy that's really good, and it's just different. I mean, he's so experienced. He's been around so long. He's not just knows kind of what I want, but he's able to kind of translate some of that to the other guys and the new guys. And very fortunate to have the best player. Basketball, like a lot of sports, when you have one of the best players or the best player, it makes winning a little bit easier.
So when we talk about the accomplishments of last year's team, a lot of those guys are back this year. Huge rotation pieces, guys like Sam Schultz, who's back. Carson Smith, Brian Parzik. Guard room stacked. How have these guys meshed with the new guys that you brought in? Number of freshmen, a couple of transfers. How is the mesh with the new core with the old core?
Yeah, it's been good. I think it's been the most seamless we've had. Part of it is we didn't add a ton of new pieces, and part of it is the guys returning have had success, so they're maybe a little less. They're a little more confident and secure in who they are and what their role is going to be. So it's not that we're not competing, because we definitely are, and there's a lot of jobs still up in the air. But at least I think we have a core foundation of guys that everyone believes in, everyone trusts, and then we're able to kind of build around that core, and that's a lot easier than trying to build from scratch.
So it all gets started with the GLIAC GLVC Challenge over in Houghton against McKendree and against Lewis this weekend. Your thoughts on those season opening matchups for the Wildcats?
Yeah, it's a great challenge. Lewis was picked 3rd in their league. McKendree was picked 6th in the same league out of, I believe, 16 or 15. So both on the high end, 2 really good teams. Lewis has historically been a really good program that year in and year out is top 25, making the NCAA tournament. Their coach is a legend in the coaching community, and we've been fortunate. We've actually played really well against them the two years I've been here, and then McKendree's beat us up pretty good the 2 times we played them. So I don't know. There's a little matchup stuff with that, and McKendree returns an All-American, so him and Max should be a good battle in that. Max is preseason player of the year. He's a returning All-American. Should be a really good and interesting matchup. So excited about it. The first weekend games are always weird. I almost feel like they're like out-of-body experiences to coach in and play in, because just weird things happen. Guys make shots that don't make shots for the rest of the season, and so you just kind of got to go into the first weekend as like just try to scratch, claw, steal one win, and then if you get one win, try to get a second one, and if you lose the first one, just try to get out of there 1-1, because it doesn't feel necessarily like basketball yet. It's just kind of an odd thing of riding waves and emotions, and everyone deals with it, so it's fair. But the opening weekend always feels a little weird to me.